Hello, my name is Vicky, and I am interviewing my teacher, Dr. Gray Waterhouse, who is my design teacher and a professional in the field of industry design. Next, I will sharing my design questions with him during the interview and ask him some questions and my last harvest summary. I asked him, first question is why did you choose a major in design? He said, in fact, my first field of the study was dance rather than design, more creative, something that would allow me to bring a lot of different ideas and practices to access and approaches, especially design and instruction design, which are interesting design routes. They bring us scientific knowledge and relations facts, and then also creative art. I believe that the creation and education development of art since childhood is a good choice, and there are specific solutions to different problems according to different ideas and many different things. And then the second question is, how long have you been a design teacher? He said me, since 1995. And then I asked him how to keep himself inspired. He told me, inspiration comes from what you have a particular interest is when the people are exploring and trying new things and innovating new ways and exploring new technologies. I think we are going to be looking at what other people are doing, watching what other people are looking at in any given area and or coming from the internet. I will also look the inspiration from the past history. Looking back, there will still be new inspirations in the particles of historical design, which is the cream of design. I think the teacher who teaching design have a young heart. What do you think? I asked him. He replied me, yes, everyone should have a young man to creative and development to face a new things every day, and said he really enjoys the process of finding inspiration and gain some insights, which might make he mentally younger. Of course, he also enjoys the process of teaching. Only the interested as a case of enjoyment will have a more happy state of mind. The fourth question is responsibility greater than hobby or hobby greater than responsibility in your work life? In his working life, he said, in my opinion, hobbies must more than responsibility. Only when we enjoy them can we have more creative thinking to make something and reproduce some things. A sharing responsibility can make a big difference. Interest is a soul of design. With more interest can be with happy mood to creative. And then I asked, do you have an expression to growing up as a designer? Would like to sharing with me? He tell me previous design sharing when he was very young. He was very fond of furniture and making some things. They brought his fan of childhood. As increases himself hands-on ability, my thinking is constantly changing. I thought with him like you. When I was young, I often like to make toys by myself. For example, I made my own cars, dolls, and other toys by hand. In an increasingly may change this circulated, I think handmaker has become rare and rare. Maybe this is one of the reasons why I am choose subject of design. Being a designer is a dream of many people. How do you realize it by step by step? He answered with me, I think designers create something real in the world according to their own heart and instinct. So creating interest is the most important thing. No, you need some design with higher qualification in order to get employment in the field. I don't take it as a ticket. For me, design is something to enjoy so that I can make better and better things. Only by learning to join and can make better achievements.
I wanted something more creative, and I also wanted something that allowed me to bring lots of different ideas and perspectives to problem solving and to the way we would problem solve. So I think I was attracted to design and industrial design because it seemed an interesting way to bring hard knowledge, hard scientific knowledge, hard factual, rational knowledge, but also to bring artistic, creative, artistic, more personal interests as well into the construction or the development of something. So I like the idea of design being lots of different things, lots of different ideas, lots of different approaches, being able to be brought to a particular design problem.
How long do you been to teach?
How long have I been teaching here?
Yeah.
So I've been teaching here since 1995.
1995.
So
Wow.
it's a long time, isn't it? Yeah, I have not been here the whole time.
Yeah,
I have come and go.
It's very long.
Yeah, it is a long time.
How do you keep yourself inspired?
Oh, how do I keep myself inspired? Yeah, well, I understand that. That's good. That's a good sign, I think. Yeah.
Being a designer is a dream of many people. How do you realize it step by step?
How do I? Sorry, what do I?
How do you realize?
How do you realize?
They realize.
Becoming a designer?
Yeah.
Well, I think in a way, going to a university and learning a bit about design is important, but it's not the only thing about design, or being about a designer. I think being a designer is actually partly comes from within, an interest in making something, an interest in having an idea and seeing it fulfilled as a real thing in the world, I think is probably what's more important. So a creative interest is probably the most important thing. Probably these days you do need some higher qualification in design in order to obtain employment in the field, but then there are plenty of good designers who are working who have not undertaken, formal education, but who are still nevertheless very good designers. So I actually think it's not so much about what you study or how hard you study. It's more important that you're passionate about it, that you find an area of design that you really enjoy. And that then I think leads to a progress and a progression in design that gets better and better and leads you into areas which are more and more satisfying. Mm-hmm. So it's finding what you're interested in, which I think is really important. That's the part that I think gives you the passion and that gives you the drive. And then if you can bring that to a study at a university or another institution to learn more about design, that's good. And then from there, your first job might not be the perfect job, but if it's in the right direction, roughly in the right direction, then that leads you ultimately, I think, to a position where hopefully within, let's say, 5 or 10 years of finishing your studies at a university, for example, you would be in a position or a job which was much closer to your ideal job and something you find very satisfying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know.
So it'll take a while, it takes some time, but it doesn't matter how long it takes if you're happy with it. Does that make sense? So, if you're really enjoying, because design can be very time consuming. It takes a lot of time in your life to be producing good design. But that's fine if you are enjoying it. It's not fine if you're not enjoying it.
I also think so. I think the design from normal life. The last conclusion. Through this interview with my teacher, I think I am interested in doing something and then have an idea and a high achievement as a real world. In my opinion, interest may be more important. So creating interest is one of the most important things about design and our life today. Design comes from life and is higher than life. Seeking inspiration in design and excavating the exercise of design from interest is the most fundamental means of design. This interview also provided me with a good guide for my future study direction, and I learned more about everything about design. Once again, I am very grateful for my teacher's instruction.